Season's greetings. God bless you to each of you, and welcome to the 51st episode of the Jay Bass Today Show. Oh my goodness, it's a blessing to be here. And I was just thinking, I'm sitting in between Big 50 and then 52. Well, why is 52 special? Because that means next week we'll be celebrating one full year of the Jay Bass Today Show. Oh my goodness, I am just so excited. I was excited looking forward to 50, but now I need to get excited all over again and think about some guests for episode 52. A whole year. Oh my goodness. That means that around November of 2023, we released our first episode. And so I am so grateful for this opportunity to be here, to still be here, and to be sharing in this episode because, of course, you have to get through the 51st episode to get to number 52. And so God bless you all. Thank you so much for joining me. I don't have much to share. Oh, but I have something to share. I am just so grateful because we've been sharing about the 50/50 fundraiser. We've been sharing how we're so close to uh, finishing J Bass Songbook Volume 7, and that paying or filling the remaining part of the JBM Keys fundraiser piano will finish, excuse me, will pay. I call myself kind of calculating over 60% of the remaining balance for the CD. And I'm just so grateful for that. And I've been sharing with people, and we have been receiving some gifts. It's amazing because as I share in person, they're giving cash when I'm so used to things coming in, Zelle or Cash App. But I am so honored and grateful to God that where the floodgates have been closed, they're open so that we can finish what we've started. And I just honor God. I remember uh, seasons of my life where it just seemed like I was starting things but not finishing. Uh, you get excited about something and you get to work on it, and it just seems like for whatever reason it dies out, and you thinking, okay, God, you gave it to me, and what was it again? Because life, circumstances, issues, a lot of times disappointments, discouragements, the lack of finances, whatever reason. But as I was driving home today, it hit me. We have to relax more in God because honestly, He made us. He knows all about us. He sent us here. He has sustained us thus far. It is as if all we have to do is make it through each moment, no matter what happens in each moment. Get through it and keep going. Okay, I brought back up because we got a little cough. All right, but get through it because there's gonna be something else, and you're gonna need your focus for that moment. And a lot of times, I know I've been so wound up in whatever happened that was on my mind, uh, face crunched, just down and depressed, or just, I can't explain, but it's because either I'm thinking about something that has happened, or even how is something going to happen, or how is something going to turn out. And yes, we know we face things, we're going to face things, but one of my really daily prayers and mostly thanks is that God is going before me and making the crooked places straight, that He's already laid out the roadmap, and what I don't see, He sees. We're here in this moment, and we're sharing together and being able to think, and I can't say engage because I'm here on screen alone, but I am I'm in this moment, and this my clock says 9:10 p.m. and it's October 30th of 2024. And at 9:10, I'm at home, but I have no clue where God will have me at 9:30, 10 p.m., 2 p.m. I have class, or my schedule says class at 11 a.m. on 10/31/24, Thursday. But only God knows whether He will allow my path to align to get to that class. I have a doctor's appointment after that class, a doctor's appointment I've been looking forward to, a doctor's appointment that was threatened, but thank God that the testimony is that everything worked out. And once I leave class, I'm heading straight to that doctor's appointment. And so it is in my schedule, it is in my plan to do those things, but only God really knows where we'll be, when we'll get there, how we'll get there. You know, sometimes things like you have a car, or you have this means, or you have that means, and you think this is gonna do it. But then something happens. It's like getting to the store, and you have scanned over $100 worth of groceries, and you scan your card, uh, and it is declined, and then you're wondering, now wait a minute. The last time I checked, I had $125 in that account. This is an example. And you're holding up the line, you call the bank, you check your account, and something has hit that knocked your account under $100. You weren't expecting it. The last moment you saw, you had 125. But in another moment, past that moment, something hit. So that now in this moment, I'm unable to fulfill what I thought I would be able to do. And life will do you like that. That's why, even in that moment, you have to know, okay, yes, this is frustrating that it happened. Yes, I'm in this moment. This is frustrating, Let me figure out what I need to put back, what I can get, what I need, and then just move on. Then when I can come back and get what I need, then I'll do that. And so it just those kind of life lessons and really living in the moment and knowing that even even when that something hit and I get to the grocery store and the situation happens and I have to put some things back, sometimes we may feel like, God, why did you allow this to happen? But on the flip side, we can say, well, God, you knew this would happen. You allowed me to get here. You're allowing me in front of all these people. Well, although I'm frustrated, I'm going to go ahead and do what I need to do. And I thank you. I thank you that it didn't fully wipe me out. I still have something. And maybe in that moment, as I'm adjusting, I had to share the word of God at our church. I want to say the week before last, or the last Sunday, not this past Sunday. Uh, and one of the points was to adjust your trust. And in that moment, it takes real spiritual maturity to adjust your trust because, again, on the flip side, you can say, okay, Lord, why would you let this happen in front of all these people? I cannot believe this. But you're the one that had already set up for that to come out. Now, you didn't know it was going to come out when it came out. You were hoping it was going to come out a little bit later, but it came on out. That's not on God. Adjust your trust and say, well, God, thank you again. I had 125. Now I have 35. But God, I bless you. That takes spiritual maturity. And when you say that, and it's something about audible thanks and praise, and you begin to thank and praise God while you're putting the items back. Those people in line looking at you like you crazy. His card just declined. He's putting items back and he's telling the Lord, thank you. What's wrong with him? Oh, no, sweetie, let me tell you, nothing is wrong with me. I serve a good God who has given me the strength and the grace to understand that if I trust him, although this happened, at some point, I'll be able to come back and get those things. Something just happened that happened sooner than I expected that has caused a dilemma that had y'all waiting on me to put these groceries back. And that's just part of life. I was thinking uh, how where I am now and the things that I've been through to get to this moment. There have been so many moments that I wasn't living in the moment. I was so depressed because of what I'd been through and what wasn't happening where I was and with what was going on. And it was hard to balance because you do want greater when you're exposed to greater. And I began to believe that God sent me to this area to bury me, for me to die, and that I would be done. I mean, the circumstances were right. Uh, the earthly human statistics and odds would say that that's what's about to happen. Things were dark. It was a lot of times lonely. Although I had a church, it was I was away from my family, transplanted to a new area. The thing is, most of my life I've moved, but a lot of that time I was still close to my family. And so now to be, although it's still within driving distance and within a few hours, it makes a difference because especially with my schedule, just hopping up to go see them or be with them is not always an option in that moment. There are, I thank God that moments do come where that can happen, but it was a bit much. And for quite some time, I felt buried and even suffocating. And what I realized is God was burying me. Oh, sweet Jesus, bless you, Jesus. I had been buried, and while in the ground, I was dying, and there was death. There was death. And it's amazing because then as time began to roll on, things started happening, started changing, something's moving, even though it seemed like there was no activity. Now there's something's going on. And it continued up until you start seeing a little glimmer of light, a little glimmer of hope. And it's, God, what? Wait a minute. I'm still alive. Okay. And then as you continue to now live and grow and evolve, you eventually begin to realize, wait a minute, I'm blooming. I'm blossoming. Wait a minute. Because just like a tree, just like a plant, uh, when you plant the seed, it goes into the ground, it dies, and then something that was in the depth, that was inside that seed, starts to, it's something about God's plan and his work. Starts to work with the soil and the water and the nutrients. And the thing that produced that seed, whatever is down in it, causes it to come up out of that seed and start to sprout and eventually get through the ground to bloom and blossom. And so he didn't send me here to bury me. He sent me here to bless me. And even as challenging as this season is with health challenges and so many things that are going on, I I can't stay focused on it. Yes, when I move, I'm reminded. When I receive a call, I'm reminded. There are things that will remind you, but there are also many blessings that cause you to remember, oh, I'm in my blessed season. And I cannot afford to let we've heard so many times to let the burdens overtake the blessings. Even though the burdens come with the blessings, I refuse mentally, spiritually, physically to let the burdens overtake the blessings as much as possible, because God really has been good to us. And to have the opportunities we do, to have the resources, to have the connections, to have the opportunities, to have the creativity, to have the ideas. What a blessing. And so, as I bring this episode to a close, what a blessing it is to be a human being, to be someone called, chosen, and created by God to exist in the earth, to show forth his glory, many times in ways that we can't see or understand. But when I adjust my trust, when I just trust, and my trust is robust, then I can see and receive the return on my trust. My encouragement to you, it is a process. It is a journey. And I'm not saying I got it all together, that every day is easy, that there are not moments, that it does not get heavy. But I honor God that we are able to feel, engage in that moment, in that feeling, do that. And when it passes, release it. Release it, because when you don't release it, then you're mad because you had that moment. You feel some kind of way because you had that moment. I should have known better than this. I ought to be stronger than this. All of these feelings, but God knows exactly who we are. And if we just in that moment engage fully, when and it's not always being, but it's becoming something that I do, especially in my private time, uh, when I feel emotions, to go ahead and release. You try not to do it in front of people for so many reasons, but especially in your private time. That way, and again, make sure when you get through, you release it. That way, you cried, you snotted, you've yelled, you've done all you need to do. Now you up cooking, cleaning, whatever is the next moment, whatever is next on your list, because you engaged and you released. What's next? Oh, sweet Jesus, Well, that's a good segue into letting you all know January 25th, we are planning the next conference. And what's next is our intended topic. Would love for you to participate. In fact, we should have a JBass Ministries meeting soon to establish more information, such as registration, how you can register, and T-shirts, all of those wonderful things, because truly, yes, we are in the moment, but sometimes we need to be intentional about what's next. We need to think about, put some time into thinking about what's next. It's just, oh goodness, bless you, Jesus. A good example to me is I have not gotten there, but I believe that I will be graduating shortly, and I'm already planning what's next, a graduation celebration. Okay, and then the thought is, after the graduation celebration, what's next? Because as long as he gives me life, health, strength, the activity of my limbs, and the ability to move forward, oh my goodness, that lets me know there is yet a greater work to do. And I say the same to you. Let us stir up our faith and know that this is not it. I just got excited all over again because uh, I'm praying and continuing in prayer for songs for that concert in June. And when the pastor of the church that I'm playing organ for sent the song for the choir, it speaks to the theme that God has given me. And so we have two songs now, which is absolutely a blessing, which means we're adding a song each month. I taught them the theme song last month. And so I just honor God. That means by December, we should have all four songs to be on track to fully having every song done by December, that January, February, March, April, and June, all we're doing is perfecting, planning, and preparing. And so I honor God. I give him the glory. I give him the praise. And I thank you for joining me for this episode of the J Bass Today Show. God bless you.